Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting you an exclusive right now. Mehul Choksi, one of the fugitives that India is trying to drag back, and Republic has an exclusive response from the Belgian Advocate General. The Belgian Advocate General, in an email response to Republic, has confirmed. We'll put out the details of what the Belgian Advocate General has said. We have a detailed email response that's come in, where they tell us that Choksi has run out of all options. That's the detailed response. Appeal was rejected by the Belgium Supreme Court, which was the Cassation Court, and that he's run out of all options is what Belgium Advocate General told Republic in a written response. I'd like to go across to my colleague Shavan, joining us with details. It's an exclusive response that come in, Shavan, for the first time. We felt that maybe there is another window for him. There is no window. The window is to book a ticket and return to Arthur Road Jail. Shavan, is there any other option for Choksi?
Well, in fact, this is a query that we had posed before the Advocate General. In fact, they have now passed this on to the prosecution department. Now, in terms of legal options available before a fugitive economic offender Mehul Choksi, there aren't much. In fact, he has appealed before the highest court in Belgium. Interestingly, in the order that has now been passed by the Belgium Supreme Court and which has now been accessed by Republic TV, some of the key points that he has essentially made. One, whether at all his rights would be violated if at all he is extradited to India. It could be because of what he's been calling political witch hunt. That has been completely rejected by the Supreme Court. The other has been a narrative that was spun by the legal counsel of Mehul Choksi, that is of abduction by the Indian agencies when he was in Antigua. Now that theory has also been rejected by the Supreme Court, where they have essentially indicated that there is no evidence to the effect that he was abducted by the Indian agencies. So, to keep that in mind, remember, there isn't much of a legal recourse that Mehul Choksi has at this stage. In fact, there is a slim possibility, pretty much the playbook that was adopted by Nirav Modi, there is a possibility that a similar playbook would be adopted by Mehul Choksi by perhaps taking this matter before an international court just to delay this entire process. But remember, there is an extradition treaty between India and Belgium that would certainly make things extremely difficult for Mehul Choksi, I beg your pardon.
So is there a timeline, Shavan? Is there a timeline? Do we know when he's being dragged back?
Well, that clarity hasn't really come in because it's the prosecution department which is now going to take the final call. And that call would be as to when exactly they would act upon the Supreme Court order. In terms of legal recourse, as I mentioned a short while back, there isn't much options available before Mehul Choksi. If you go by the order, which is runs over 30 pages, which is in Dutch, we have just translated that, it basically takes away the sting of the entire argument, the argument that has been made by Mehul Choksi all this while, particularly about the conditions in which he would be living here in India once he is brought back. Some assurances have been given by the central agencies that once he is extradited, he would not be in the custody of the Enforcement Directorate or the Central Bureau of Investigation. He would be, in fact, in the custody of the court. So that is the reason why, you know, that has been taken well by the courts in Belgium. And the fact that the assurance that has essentially been given right now by the Indian central agencies is on the ground that there is a case of money laundering and it is accepted worldwide. In fact, money laundering laws internationally also accepts this, and that is the reason why, remember, they've been able to prove the fact that there is a case of money laundering here in India. And as per the FATF, you know, this basically demands for further prosecution, and that's exactly what is happening in this particular case.
Shavan, thank you for joining us with those details. So the options have run out for Mehul Choksi, who fled India.